Do we get any health benefits from beer or wine?
Ooh, sadly, no. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but contrary to all of the much more fun interpretation of the science from the 90s that showed that moderate alcohol consumption was beneficial, especially red wine, more recent analyses of that, that body of scientific literature. So even going back to the studies that and like reinterpreting the data has shown that there was a basically a flaw in the logic of the original analysis. So the way they did the original analysis was they compared the impact of like 1 drink a day, 2 drinks a day, 3 drinks a day, 4 drinks a day to 0. So like non-drinkers, people who never drink alcohol. And what they showed was if you look at let's say we're measuring all-cause mortality, a general indicator of health and longevity, they showed that compared to 0 drinks, that you would have this, like, little bit of a decrease in all-cause mortality or cardiovascular disease, with, like, 1 to 2 drinks per day, and then at 3 drinks per day or more, you would kinda be equal to 0 drinks, and then it would start to increase, and you'd have the increased risk. What, subsequent analyses, so analyses over the last, like, 5-ish years, they've gone back and they've thought, "Okay, but who are the people who have 0 drinks per day?" Like, certainly there are people who don't drink for, religious reasons, but also, like, abundant in that control group is a group of people who don't drink because their doctor has told them not to, because they have some kind of medical condition for which drinking increases their risk. And so you're comparing not to a group of people who don't drink because they choose not to drink, they just maybe don't like it or it doesn't align with their religion or their value system, but rather a group of people who aren't as healthy on average. And so happens is like what they've done in these new analyses, if they've instead of comparing against people who never drink, they compare against people who kind of like me, like has, maybe a drink per month. Like I don't love drinking, but I do have, there's an occasional glass of wine, like, once in a while. So people who have 1 or 2 drinks per month instead of never drinking. So a group of people who are more likely to not drink for lifestyle reasons rather than medical reasons. So that is a more, like, equal control to the people who drink 1 drink per day or 2 drinks per day, etcetera. And then what happens when you use that as your different control, you see that little benefit at 1 drink away, that goes away. And instead you have a neutral effect up to about a drink per day, and then you start to see the increased risk of health risk. If you look at cancer specifically, you see the risk start to increase at as soon as you have a drink. So with cancer, there's no flat part. With cardiovascular disease and all-cause mortality, there is a flat part to that curve where it's basically health neutral, so about a drink per day, being that health neutral range for most people. So, yeah, so it's for most health conditions other than cancer risk, a drink-ish per day is health neutral, it is not beneficial. So, that the oldie-timey thought from the 1990s, that moderate drinking was a health promoting habit that has, since been busted in the scientific literature.